The feds revealed inadvertently that not only is there a grand jury investigating the alleged espionage, the failure to keep safe and secret documents, national defense information, investigating Donald Trump in Washington, D.C. That's the grand jury before which the feds have been parading a lot of witnesses, including 3 of Trump's former lawyers. But they also revealed that they are using another grand jury in Miami, and they have begun parading witnesses before that grand jury. So why 2 grand juries? Why one in D.C. and one in Miami? So here's how it works. When the feds come knocking and say, we want to talk to you, usually it's an FBI agent knocking at your door. It's not a phone call, and it's not a letter, and it's not an email. If you say, sorry, go take a hike, the FBI agent will come back with a subpoena. And the subpoena will require you to speak not with that FBI agent, but to answer questions before a grand jury. If you say to the FBI agent, okay, I'll talk to you, then you'll go downtown and be interviewed by one of the prosecutors presenting the case to the grand jury, so that the prosecutors will know ahead of time what you're going to say, and they will decide whether or not they want the grand jury to hear it. In the first scenario, this hypothetical, where you told the FBI to go take a hike, which, by the way, you can always do, and which, by the way, you should always do. You can say it more politely, like, here's my lawyer, talk to my lawyer. But when you decline to talk to the FBI and they show up with a subpoena and you go before the grand jury, they don't know ahead of time what you're going to say. The grand jury's purpose is to hear evidence of crimes. You may very well be presenting evidence that is exculpatory, evidence to show that the defendant, in this case Donald Trump, did not commit the crime. So that's why they have 2 grand juries, because they are putting witnesses on whom they've not yet interviewed, witnesses who refuse to talk to them, witnesses who refuse to talk to their FBI agents. So they put those witnesses on before the grand jury in D.C., and then if they like what you tell the grand jury in D.C., you'll get a round trip plane ticket to Miami, where you'll testify before that grand jury. Now, why Miami? Well, that's where the federal courts sit, closest to where Mar-a-Lago is. If Donald Trump did what the government says he did, the failure to secure NDI, National Defense Information, hiding NDI from the government, knowing it was government property. That's also called obstruction of justice. If he did that, he has to be charged in the judicial district in which the crime was committed, which means the Southern District of Florida, which means the southern 1/3 of Florida, the headquarters of which for federal prosecutors and federal judges is in Miami. So if the president is going to be the former president is going to be indicted for the failure to safeguard NDI, National Defense Information, this has nothing to do with classified. We're way ahead of that. I've explained that a number of times. That indictment is going to come from Miami. And if persons are going to testify before a grand jury who refuse to be interviewed ahead of time, they're going to go to D.C. And only if the feds like what they say to the grand jury in D.C. will they then go to the grand jury in Miami.